There'll never be another Ralph Sampson. Big statement, right? But honestly, it's the truth. The guy was unreal. He had a mix of size and skill that just didn't seem possible. At 7 feet 4 inches, he wasn't just tall. He could shoot, he could dribble, and he moved like someone half his size. It almost felt like you were watching something out of a dream. Don't believe it? Just look at the way he shook up the league. Where do you even begin with Ralph Sampson? The man was unlike almost every center of his time. While most big men were content to stay near the basket, grabbing rebounds and blocking shots, Sampson was out there handling the ball like a guard. He had incredible agility for someone his size, could dribble between his legs, run the floor with ease, and hit shots from outside the paint. Watching him play felt like you were seeing the future of basketball, because skills like that in a 7'4" player were practically unheard of back then, and honestly, still rare today. But like many stars, Ralph's story isn't just about highlights and jaw-dropping talent. He had his share of drama too, and most of it centered around one big question that followed him throughout his career. Did Ralph Sampson really have that killer instinct? No one ever doubted his talent. He had the tools, he had the size, he had the moves. But some critics felt he just didn't bring that same fire, that relentless drive to dominate, especially when the game was on the line. There were moments, big ones, when people thought he should have taken over, but instead, he came off as too passive, too laid back. And in sports, especially at the highest level, that kind of perception can stick. It wasn't just fans or the media who felt this way either. Even some of his coaches started to question his mindset. Before his trade to Golden State, his coach in Houston, Bill Fitch, openly voiced his frustration. Fitch was upset that Sampson wasn't spending his offseason in Houston, working out and staying close to the team. That kind of thing raised eyebrows. Was Ralph really putting in the work? Was his heart still in it? Then came the shocker, the trade. In December of 1987, the Houston Rockets made the surprising decision to send Ralph Sampson to the Golden State Warriors. He was still relatively young, still just a few years removed from leading Houston to the NBA Finals, and still, in many people's eyes, a cornerstone of the franchise. But behind the scenes, things weren't so smooth. Injuries were starting to pile up, and there were growing whispers that Coach Fitch had simply lost patience with Ralph, whether it was his playing style, his effort, or his overall attitude. And if that wasn't enough drama, things got even messier after the trade. Once Sampson arrived in Golden State, he didn't hold back. He publicly took aim at his former coach, Bill Fitch, accusing him of making excuses for the team's failures and turning a blind eye to serious problems like drug use in the locker room. He even said Fitch was afraid of winning. Those were strong words, and they didn't go unanswered. Fitch fired back, calling the accusations an absolute lie. But honestly, it seems like the more talent and potential a player has, the more likely they are to attract drama, right? And in Ralph Sampson's case, that definitely felt true. He was a star from the start, and his early success on the court proved just how special he really was. When Ralph Sampson entered the NBA, the hype around him was sky high, and for good reason. Sampson wasn't just a tall guy who could dunk. He had a smooth jump shot, could dribble like a wing, and move up and down the court with ease. People weren't just excited. They expected him to completely change what it meant to be a center. The Houston Rockets didn't hesitate. They took Sampson with the number 1 pick in the 1983 NBA draft, and right away he showed why. In his rookie season, he averaged 21 points and over 11 rebounds a game, earned a spot in the All-Star game, and walked away with Rookie of the Year honors. Despite all that, the Rockets only won 29 games. But in a twist of luck, that poor record gave them another top pick in 1984, and they used it to grab another dominant big man, Hakeem Olajuwon. People weren't sure how this would work. 2 towering 7-footers on the same team? Some said it was a disaster waiting to happen. Others thought it could become the most unstoppable front line the NBA had ever seen. Houston's coaching staff decided to move Sampson to power forward, and the Twin Towers era began. The experiment paid off fast. The Rockets won 48 games the next season, a 19-game improvement, and made the playoffs for the first time in 3 years. Sampson had the best year of his career, averaging 22.1 points and 10.4 rebounds, and made the All-NBA second team. He also earned MVP honors at the 1985 All-Star Game after putting up 24 points and 10 boards. In March of that same year, Sampson had a stat line that seemed straight out of a video game: 30 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, and 5 steals. It was the first time in NBA history someone had hit those marks in one game since steals became an official stat. The next season, Houston kept rolling. They won their division and made a deep playoff run. But late in the regular season, Sampson took a hard fall while going for a rebound against the Celtics. He bruised his back badly and missed a few games. Some, including team president Ray Patterson, later said Sampson was never quite the same after that fall. Still, Sampson pushed through. In the playoffs, he helped Houston beat the Kings and the Nuggets, setting up a huge showdown with the defending champion Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. LA had beaten them up during the regular season, but the Rockets weren't backing down. After dropping Game 1, Houston won 4 straight. And in Game 5, with Olajuwon ejected and the game tied at 112, Sampson hit one of the most famous shots in playoff history: a twisting last-second jumper that bounced in at the buzzer, sending Houston to the NBA Finals. That set the stage for a battle with the Boston Celtics. But things didn't start well for Sampson. In Game 1, he got into foul trouble early and couldn't make much of an impact. Boston took a 2-0 lead. Back in Houston, Sampson bounced back in Game 3 and helped the Rockets get a much-needed win. Game 4 was tight again, but the Celtics pulled it out thanks to Larry Bird's clutch shooting and a few late mistakes by Houston's guards. Game 5 turned into a bizarre moment for Sampson. Boston's 6 feet 1 inch backup guard, Jerry Sichting, started taunting him, and Sampson lost his cool. He threw a punch, got ejected, and left everyone stunned. But in a strange twist, the Rockets were energized by it. Without Sampson, they played inspired basketball and won the game. Unfortunately, in Game 6 back in Boston, Sampson once again got into foul trouble and struggled. The Celtics closed out the series, and although the Rockets lost, the future looked bright. The following year, Sampson signed a big 6-year deal worth $14.4 million, but his health started to slip. During a game in early 1987, he tore cartilage in his left knee after slipping on a wet spot on the court. He had to have surgery and rushed his recovery to get back for the playoffs, something he later said he regretted. That season, he only played in 43 games, but still managed to average solid numbers when he was on the floor. Houston made it to the conference semifinals again, but they lost to the Seattle Supersonics. Sampson played in all the games, but it was clear his knee wasn't the same. Early in the 1987-88 season, his injury troubles continued. He missed more time and reportedly started falling out of favor with head coach Bill Fitch. Then came the shocker. On December 12, 1987, the Rockets traded Sampson and teammate Steve Harris to the Golden State Warriors. The deal caught fans off guard. Just a couple of years earlier, Sampson had been seen as a franchise cornerstone, but the Rockets were ready to move on. In Golden State, there was hope that Sampson could be a game changer again. He put up decent numbers, around 15 points and 10 rebounds per game in limited action, but his knee continued to be a problem. He needed fluid drained and couldn't put the same strength on his left leg. The next season, his production dropped off. He played in 61 games but only started 36 and averaged just 6.4 points. Golden State did make the playoffs, but Sampson only saw action in 3 games. He was soon traded again, this time to the Sacramento Kings. By now, the injuries had really taken a toll. Over 2 seasons with the Kings, Sampson only played 51 games and averaged just a few points per game. In 1991, he got a short chance with the Washington Bullets but only played 10 games before being waived. All in all, Sampson played 456 games across 9 NBA seasons, just under 62% of the games he could have appeared in. He tried to keep the dream alive overseas with a brief stint in Spain, and later even suited up for a minor league team in the CBA before finally calling it a career. And that wraps up our video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on future uploads. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.